forget, you can hear the full-length, longer version wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, look at that. Jamie Laing is laughing already. He's my guest today. I don't think he needs an introduction because in doing the research, I read the number of downloads that your stuff gets. I mean, there's nobody on earth who doesn't know who you are.
I think there's a lot of people who do. Is that the intro you just gave me? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that all I get?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to make it about all my accolades and all these things that I've done.
You sat here just before we started recording and in a very self-deprecating and now it would appear rather shallow way said, you're not going to give me an intro, are you? As if you didn't want one. So then I did toss one off and you're not happy.
Well, I had prepared myself to have an intro, so that's why I sort of sat casually. And then you just, that was a mediocre intro.
Because you prefaced it by saying, well, you're not going to give me an intro, are you? The inference being, I don't need one, let's not waste time with that, I'm a down-to-earth guy.
Yes, but then if you're going to go for the intro, then you should make it an intro. You just sort of gave a half-hearted effort into the intro.
I don't care how many downloads you've had. You don't tell me how to do the intros on my show. This is the first time I've seen Jamie since he came on Would I Lie to You and kind of blew me away and all of us away. Because
really?
So when you were booked to come on Would I Lie to You, full disclosure, I don't some reality guy come in, what are we going to... And you were superb.
Really? That is so sweet. Do you know what's so funny is that I completely agree with you. I think that... The thing is, I did sort of start or Made in Chelsea, so that's kind of like my roots. And actually, I kind of saw this the other day, which is where Harry Styles, when he won the Grammy, and I compare myself to him a lot. You'll find that out. But when Harry Styles won the Grammy, he got on stage and he was in front of the world and he could say anything that he wanted to. And he said, I want to thank the X Factor. I want to thank my brothers, Liam, Niall, all the One Direction guys. And it made me realize that actually understanding and appreciating your roots is a really good thing. I came from reality TV and do you know what? For so long, I was a bit like, I don't want that to be my story and oh no. But now I'm just like, it is totally my story, so it's totally fine. And when I went on to Would I Lie to You, which, by the way, is so great, for so many reasons. And we said, because it doesn't age, that show. That show never ages. And I came onto it and it was one of those moments when I was like, I feel like I'm being accepted here. Oh. And it was so good. And weirdly enough, Rob, you won't know this. When I signed my contract for Made in Chelsea, I was sitting next to you in the Ivy.
Were you?
You wouldn't know.
How show business is that?
You were in the
Are
Ivy.
you sure?
I swear to God. We were in the Ivy. I swear to God, we were in the Ivy. Well, you were in the Ivy, I was in the Ivy, and I was signing a contract to do it, and I must have been 21, and you were sitting on the next door table to me.
Are you sure? I mean, I've only been there a handful of times.
Well, I was there when you were there. 100%.
What year would that have been?
2011.
Are you sure it wasn't Ben Miller or Anton Dubek?
Could have been Anton.
It might have been Anton Dubek.
It wasn't. It was you.
I think Anton
you.
is more likely to have been in the Ivy than me.
I promise you, it was you.
How funny!
Yeah. So I remember. So weirdly enough, so then going on to Would I Lie to You and then doing that, it was so fun. And also that show's quite intimidating in lots of ways because I have you guys who are running it, and you then, as a guest, you come onto the show and you have to kind of jump in at certain times. And you three are like a family. So you know each other's little quips. You know how to tee each other up. You know how to bring it back. So you have to find those little moments in order to jump in on one of those shows. And also coming from a sort of not a comedic background, but a reality TV background, you have to find the moment that you make sure you're not stepping on people's toes. I remember the first ever show I did, which was 8 out of 10 Cats. And I went and did that show and Jimmy Carr was hosting it, obviously.
I'd say that's a harder show to do because I would say, Would I Lie to You? You really can just tell stories. But I think on 8 out of 10 Cats, you need to have some jokes. You need to have some zingers.
You need to. And we had Jimmy Carr. It was my first time doing it. And they probably thought the same thing. They probably went, we got this reality TV guy coming on, whatever it was. And I remember Jimmy Carr said a joke and I talked over the end of it. And he said, be quiet, let me do that again. And I went, oh my God. And I suddenly realized, oh God, this is, because I came from reality TV where you could talk over people and it was ad-libbing and it was this and that, where those kind of shows, it's almost like snippets. You want to capture like the great moments because you record for so long. So I had no idea. So I quickly understood what kind of these panel entertainment shows were like.
But you started, I didn't realise, you went to study theatre and performing, didn't you?
So growing up, I loved being on stage more than anything. I loved the world of entertainment. It was just the greatest. And I went to Leeds University to study theatre and performance. And when I got there, it wasn't like the sort of Radas or Guildhalls or Central St. Martin's, these shows that, you know, these sort of places that I thought was going to just be focused heavily on just acting. It was all written work, Rob.
Was it?
It was all written work.
Lord.
It was all written.
You didn't realise that when you applied for the course?
I had the only reason I applied is because my girlfriend at the time was there. So I thought, well, I should go there.
Classic
I didn't
decisions.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
I'm not doing that, Dad. All my friends. I get that with some of my kids.
Where did you go?
My friends are. None of my friends are doing it. It doesn't really matter. I went to it's now called the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, but it wasn't royal in my day. Mm-hmm. It was the Welsh College. It was the Common Welsh College of Music and Drama.
Who made it royal?
I don't know.
Did you make it royal?
No, I didn't make it. How do you make? I couldn't.
I
could no more make something royal than
I
you
think
could make
you
something
must have made it royal. I think they went, Rob Brydon's been here, let's make it royal.
That's right. Well, we'll go with that if you want. Okay. Perception, as we were saying, is everything. And you've come dressed as a cat burglar. Why are you all in black? Has somebody died?
Well, I decided that I was at Glastonbury on the weekend, and so I came back. So I had a sort of tough time getting back. So I didn't sleep on the Sunday night. Slept a lot last night. So I thought I'd wear my comfy clothes today and just arrive in my comfy clothes.
When you were at Glastonbury,
yeah,
where were you staying?
I stayed in something called a Winnebago.
I know what a Winnebago is.
Well, I bet you don't. What's a Winnebago? What does it look like?
It's a big trailer.
Yes, it is, exactly.
Why would I not know what a Winnebago is?
Well, I didn't know what a Winnebago was, so I had no clue. I thought it was called an Airstream.
Jamie, I'm in Barbie. You think I don't know what a Winnebago is?
You were in Barbie?
Don't question me.
Just, was your bit quite, was it a big bit?
Do you remember Sugar Daddy Ken?
Briefly.
Well, it was brief. I didn't say it wasn't brief.
I thought that was Anton de Beck.
Am I getting taken down by Jamie Laing? You're at
the Winnebago.
Glastonbury,
yeah,
and you're in a Winnebago. So you're around special people. You're around show people who've got their Winnebagos. You've paid for the Winnebago, or somebody else has said, Jamie, we'd love to have you here.
No, you pay for the Winnebago.
You've paid for the Winnebago.
I paid for the Winnebago.
Where do you watch the acts from?
I don't watch it from the stage with Tom Cruise and Simon
You're not
Pegg.
up at that bit, because that's for really close people to do with the acts.
How do you get up on that bit?
I have no idea. Well, I suppose you just know, the act. So they say, could Jamie come and, be
there?
Yeah, and they would say they'd have a number they could probably have. So where are you watching?
I'm in the crowd. So
where in the crowd?
So where we went and watched Coldplay. Have you ever been to a Coldplay performance?
I've sung with Coldplay, but carry on.
Whoa. When did you sing with Coldplay?
Well, I've done it twice now.
It's all yellow.
Well, they had a song called Yellow, but I don't remember it sounding like that. It's all yellow.
How does it go? Well,
it doesn't go like that.
Well, give me the line. What's the first line?
Hello, I'm Chris Martin, and here's one of my favourite songs. It's all yellow.
What do they sing?
How have you achieved what you have achieved?
What do they sing?
It's a bloody mystery. So you're watching Coldplay.
Yeah, I'm in the left-hand side. So if Chris Martin is looking at me,
yes,
I'm on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Oh, the classic celebrity enclosure.
Yeah.
So you're down there. Who is standing around you watching? Who else has come thinking they're going to get a great view up at the side of the stage?
So I'm standing there. Who am I with? I'm with probably your buddy, Jack Whitehall.
I know Jack.
Jack's a great friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So I'm with him, and we're standing there, and
another guy from the wrong side of the tracks who's clawed his way to the top.
Who, Whitehall?
Yeah.
Why is he on the wrong side of the tracks?
I was being ironic.
Oh, I get it. Comedy. I liked it. Anyway, so standing in the crowd on the right-hand side, and what I think about Coldplay, which is so amazing, or just live music in general, you watch these things.
That's like Spinal Tap. I'm a great fan. I mean, not you in particular, but the whole genre.
It's honestly...
What I love about Coldplay, well, live music in general.
But this is what people don't realise, right? So you can watch things on telly, you can listen to it in your ears, whatever it is. And especially like rock and roll, especially like people who are playing instruments on stage, like Coldplay do, that whole band. There is something insanely magical about it. Like, we got these incredible pop artists. You know, you see these amazing people who sort of sing and dance on stage, and it's great. But there is something different about watching live music being played on stage from a band that have been together for 25 years or whatever it is. It makes you feel something. And what Chris Martin does so well is that you have 100,000 people there at Glastonbury, and he says at the back, everyone at the back, everyone over there. You feel it. And so we're standing in the crowd, and honestly, I even got on someone's shoulders. I got on someone's shoulders, and it was just...
Who?
I don't know, some person.
You're not serious.
I don't know who it was.
You didn't know who it was?
Some person tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You got to get up, Jamie." And I went, "Okay, I'm up." So I got on their shoulders.
This is a big guy?
He wasn't that big. And weirdly, I'm quite heavy for my... How heavy do you think I would be? Kilograms.
Oh, I can't do kilograms. I can do stone.
Stone. Okay, I can't do stone.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
Are you?
No, 5'9". I reckon we're the same height side by side.
I'm short. I'm 5'7". I think I've probably gone down from that now. Actually, I think because I'm 59. I think I've begun going the other way. I know it's horrible to admit. I think I have. Last night, I raced my 13-year-old son unexpectedly. We just suddenly started running, and I am crocked today. Honestly, my left hip terrible. Anyway,
wait, hang on. Wait, what do you mean? You decided to run with him, or you were just...
I was with him. He was playing tennis, and I was picking him up. And as we were walking along the side of the tennis courts, we started. I was doing a jokey thing about walking a bit faster. Then it goes into a run, and then it becomes all right. This is on. This is happening, and I really pushed myself, right, because I want to be that dad who can still. For his sake. So he goes, "Oh, great, Dad, Dad can do this." I got up this morning and I went, "Oh, God, what's going on? What's that?" Oh, yeah, I raced George last night, yeah. So you're at Glastonbury, you're on this stranger's shoulders. How good... It looked great. I watched a lot of Coldplay. It looked like it was fantastic. With the wrist... Did you have your wristband on? A special one that lit up?
I had the wristband on that lit up. And it was amazing. And
where do they give you those wristbands?
I don't know.
Given that, what do you mean you don't know?
Someone gave it to me suddenly.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm not even kidding.
Because if you go to a normal Coldplay concert, you go in through a certain number of entrances.
Yep.
You're there for Coldplay, nothing else. I thought with this one, well, not everybody's there for Coldplay. There'll be some people there who actually aren't that well disposed towards Coldplay, because there's such a wide range of artists there. But it seemed nonetheless everybody had their special wristband on.
And I still don't know where it came from. I don't know. Someone just handed it to me, and I just then...
if you're at a festival and somebody hands you something, I'd be wary.
You don't take it.
You be very careful.
Do not take it.
You put that wristband on without any questions, didn't you? And then you're feeling a bit dizzy. Oh, hang on, what's going on here?
Straight on my wrist.
Who else did you enjoy?
Oh, my God. Well, I recently, I've been into music a lot because I went to the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh, good Lord. Now, there is a cultural phenomenon.
Do you know who Taylor Swift is?
Get out. Just get out.
She's
and the rest
she's
of
a country and western singer.
She's a
country and western
and
singer.
Occasionally, I'm going to come in and go, I was talking to Jamie Laing, but he went too far. Please enjoy the silence.
Again, going back to that live music, watching at Glastonbury and seeing. So I saw at Glastonbury, saw Coldplay, and I also saw Sugar Babes.
Oh yes,
which was just amazing in so many ways. And then I then saw Dua Lipa. Have you ever seen her on stage?
No.
Oh,
it's a lovely name to say, though, isn't it?
And that's her real name.
Is it?
That's her real name.
Neil Diamond. That's his real name.
Elton John, not his real name.
Reg Dwight.
The late Larry King.
Oh, no one's mentioned him before. He was wonderful.
He was great. Do you know how he chose Larry King?
No.
So this was a great, and this is because I don't know if you know this. I have a Radio 1 show.
Of course I know that.
Okay,
I'm all over it. Tell my younger listeners who Larry King was.
So Larry King was an American chat show host. He interviewed loads of the greats in an amazing, and kind of in a podcast style.
That's right.
It was sort of the original podcast.
Now, there's a good observation I've not heard anybody else make. Well done.
Yeah, and what he did so well, I heard a story which he said, you always have to be honest with the audience. Always be honest with the audience. So in terms of how you're feeling, what you're going through. So on his first ever show, he wanted to do this radio show, and his name was Lawrence. Let's say Lawrence Table. I can't remember his original name. But
Table.
Well, I'm just looking at a table.
Yeah, so that's like a bit like Brick in Anchorman, isn't it? When he's trying to think of something and he just says, I love lamb. So this is Jamie Laing trying to think on his feet, and he's trying to think of another name for Larry King. And he goes, so he was Lawrence, let's think, I don't know, Table.
Okay, Lawrence, let's say Lawrence Wonderburn. There we go. That's off the top of my head.
Well done.
Lawrence Wonderburn. And he said he walked into the studio and his producer he met for the first time, and his producer said, okay, kid, what's your name? And he said, my name is Lawrence Wonderburn. And he said, we can't call you that. We're going to call you Larry. And they flicked through a newspaper and it said King. We're going to call you Larry King. And he went, okay. He says, your name is Larry King, now go on air. He went into the studio, the light went red, he was live, and he went, hello, everyone. My name is Lawrence Wonderburn, but I've been told to call myself Larry King, and I want to be honest with you from the start. And the fact that he was honest from the start is the audience accepted him. So I've always thought with podcasting or radio, whatever it is, if you're constantly honest to the audience, they really accept you. And I think that's sometimes the struggle that we have, like politicians all the time have it. The reason why people don't connect with them is because they're lying. They're being dishonest, they're not being honest. If any politician came out and said, yeah, I did say that, but I meant this or that, then that honesty, you kind of accept, the authenticity you accept. I think that in podcasting and radio really works well. Now, that is what you call an anecdote.
Jamie Laing speaking earlier today in London. Well, reaction has been swift. Nicholas Witchell is at the Palace. Well, there's been no official statement yet. I mean, it was not unusual for Laing to pronounce on things he knows nothing about. But this one really did take the biscuit, be it McVitie's or be it any other brand. Dua Lipa, you were about to say something about Dua Lipa, and we were all hoping it was going to be interesting.
Well, I don't really have anything interesting about Dua apart from. Well, Dua is she's grafted from a really young age. And
I've seen you saying that you have grafted. I saw a thing about you where it said that you got this Radio 1 show, and there was one show you took over, and some of the lists, why has he got it? And you said, well, I have been, the perception was this overnight, and he's posh and in he comes. You said, no, I've been pushing. Discuss.
Great topic.
What, you?
You are. You're good at these little segues. Very good. I like it. I really like it.
Do you know all these rodeos?
Yeah.
You know this one isn't my first.
Is it not?
No.
Oh my God. Oh, I like it. I've actually listened to this podcast and I really like it. And do you know why I like it?
Here we go.
Do you want my kick? Because you're honest.
All right.
Okay. So
I'm Robbie Prince. No, that's not my real name. But I just want to be honest with you guys. They said the Brydon thing isn't going to work. Everybody will think it's Rydon. They won't hear the B after the Rob. So let's make me Robbie Prince.
So Radio 1. Okay, I'll give you the background. So I do a reality show called Made in Chelsea, which is a TV show about being posh.
Is that? I don't want to be. Is that still
going?
And you're still doing that? I assumed that was in your past.
No, I don't still do it.
No, you don't. Quite.
I don't still do it.
You've moved
Have
on.
you ever watched an episode?
No.
Why not? Do you know why? Because you would learn a bit about improv from it.
Oh, I am biting my tongue. Would I? Okay, thank you.
So I go in to start doing Made in Chelsea, and I start talking about my sweet business at the same time, this idea of candy kittens. What I go and do it, I do it for, 8 years or whatever.
8 years?
I did it for 8 years. 8 years. Well, how long have you done What I Like to You for?
Yeah, but that's a great show.
And BAFTA winning Made in Chelsea.
Let's not go there.
Rob, BAFTA-winning television show. How many BAFTAs has Would I Lie to You won?
None.
There you go! There you go! That's actually shocking. I didn't realise. It should have won BAFTAs. Has it never won any?
Lee has won for his performance, but the show has never won.
Do you know what? For all you listeners, there's a bit of sadness in your eyes.
Yeah, well,
There
damn
is.
right. As I'm sat here and you're telling me Made in Chelsea's got a BAFTA, damn right I'm
Yeah.
sad. I'm
There's
not just sad, I'm angry.
There's sadness and there's anger in your eyes.
I just said I'm angry.
I know, I
so
can-
you don't need to see the anger. And let me
Listener-
follow up by saying get out.
Listener, there is sadness and anger in Rob's eyes.
There's a sense of injustice, certainly.
It was a great show. Do you know, also it's one of the most...
It was a great show. Which one are you talking about now?
Well, Made in Chelsea is a great show. So, however, here's another tangent for you.
Oh, I met somebody else from that show came on What I Like You, the German girl.
Sophie Herman.
She was lovely.
She's great.
I liked her.
She's very funny.
I
very
liked her.
funny. But that was actually the realization. So
She, for me, is the acceptable face of Made in Chelsea.
And me?
No.
Okay, well.
That was the inference of my line. You must start to get inference and you must start to get irony, Jamie. You've done really well, but if you really want to go big now, right? Inference and irony. You've got to be less literal.
So we go on stage. We win this BAFTA, which you wouldn't know the feeling of it. But we... You need those notes.
I don't need notes
need
with
the-
you. I think
you
it
need
would
this.
appear you're able to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Okay, hold on. So we won this BAFTA, which...
Oh, would you
Well,
stop
what I did-
saying we won the BAFTA?
Well, we won the BAFTA, which, Rob, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing...
Yeah.
It's an amazing...
How do you think it felt in the room?
Well, this is my point.
I was there.
Okay, so here we go. So this is my point. So we've done this show Made in Chelsea and we've won this BAFTA.
Oh, God, what's that? Bing! I'm going to go into post-production this and put a little ding every time you say, we won the BAFTA.
So we won this BAFTA.
Bing.
And we walked onto stage and we were cheering and we were very excited. And I looked into the audience and I saw Olivia Colman and I saw, Benedict Cumberbatch and these incredible actors and artists
and
in
you
the crowd.
thought quite correctly, this is wrong.
I thought, we deserve this. No, I didn't. I thought straight away, I went, yeah, this is wrong. I felt immediate, weirdly, shame.
Good.
I was like, oh God, I feel a bit shameful being up here.
See, I knew we'd agree on something.
Yeah, so I felt that. So I was a bit like, okay, this is, I now realize that I've taken the shortcut into this incredible industry, but there's a long road round in order to, and I do it, I do a little curve, a long road round to sort of, I suppose, have any sort of credibility within it. So I left that, and the next day I spoke to my agent and said, look, I really want to become, I really love this industry. I want to present. I want to be a broadcaster in some sort of way. Said, can you get me a pilot with Radio 1? Just please, just get me in the door with Radio 1. This was probably about 9 years ago. And they said, okay, we'll do our best. And it took about 4 months for me to get in through the door. And I went in through the door and they said, okay, we're going to give you a trial run. Whatever, we'll give you just to sit in a room and we'll give you like what it's like to do a radio show. So I sat in this room with this producer and we did a radio show. And it was about half an hour long. We did it. And the feedback is that they said, look, you're too posh. That was the feedback. I mean, that's the feedback they gave me, but themselves. So I went, okay, fine. So I then went to another radio station and I went to Bauer. And they had a radio show, Heat Radio, the magazine, Heat. They had this radio show. And Lucy Cave was hosting it at the time. And I said to Lucy, look, I would really love to help you out on this Heat radio show, just to understand it. So after about a year of pleading for that, finally got a trial run of that. They quite liked it. And they said, okay, well, we'll give you a show. So they gave me once a week for an hour, a show on Heat Radio. And I did that for 2 years, 3 years. I then stopped doing that. And I then slowly kept pushing towards Radio 1. And I became very friendly with Matt Edmondson, who was on the Radio 1 show. He does a show with Molly King. And Molly went on maternity leave. And he said to the head of Radio 1, I think you should give Jamie a chance on the show. And they ummed and ahed about it. And they said, okay, fine. So I went and then filled in for Molly while she was on maternity leave with Matt Edmondson. And because I was that good, and I was honest with the audience. They said, we'd like to give you a show on the drive time slot. Rob, the second biggest slot on Radio 1. And I accepted it. And here we are today.
Well, I hope what people take away from that is that this image of the silver spoon had it all handed to him. I hope we put that to rest here. You were here to talk about a particular a podcast that we're meant to be plugging, aren't we? In this paper.
My show.
And we've not done that because you've been, I'm going to use the word effervescent. Effervescent.
Wait.
His new podcast, Great Company.
It's because you've ripped up the notes and you haven't...
I did it through anger.
You've ripped up the notes.
You drove me to it.
Okay, so...
Tell me about Great Company in about 15 seconds.
Well, firstly, are you going to come on it?
No.
You have to.
No.
You have to.
No, because I think when you host a podcast, you can't appear on too many others because otherwise you're everywhere.
But you're not going to be everywhere.
Well, if I'm on Great Company with all your listeners...
Oh, you're going to love it.
I prefer a more niche market.
You're going to love it. I think we should make... I won't tell you about the podcast unless you agree to come on it.
My guest today has been Jamie Laing.
I'll tell you about it. So I started a podcast about 8 years ago.
You do a lot of things a lot of your stories involve about 8 years ago.
It was about 8 years ago. And it was called Private Parts. And the reason I started it was because I would go to commissioners and different people in television and they, there was always but this or that doesn't quite work
but
here.
You didn't take no for an answer because you're tenacious.
Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, I'll go and set up something that I can do myself and edit myself and create myself, which was a podcast. Called it Private Parts.
Why? Why did you call it Private Parts?
Because we were reading our diaries. It was a friend of mine and we would read our diaries that we would do every week. Very clever.
Great idea.
That's format.
Yeah, I know what a format is, you cheeky bugger.
That's format.
What are your recent diary or diaries from when you were kids?
Well, I wrote a diary when I was traveling when I was 18 and I wanted to reread that. That was the point. But then I realized that was just going to get a bit old. So it was our diaries that we did every single week. Right. And we would chat it and then we had guests on and things like that. Did it for a long time, but I didn't own it because I owned it 50-50 with another company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably like this podcast. I don't know.
I don't own any of this.
Yeah, you don't own it.
So, no, I don't get paid.
And because I'm from
work experience, that's what they're telling me. I'm getting great experience.
So I thought after
Jamie Laing, who knows? Maybe I'd meet Spencer Matthews.
I thought after a while, I was like, well, I kind of want to own this because I feel like I'm bringing the guests and things like that. So I stopped doing Private Parts and waited a while, and then relaunched with a show called Great Company. And the idea behind Great Company is that every single time that I spoke to someone, I said, well, I'm doing this podcast. They would say, okay, well, what's your catch? What is it? And I kept saying, well, there's no real catch to it. In fact, there are just no gimmicks. I think that actually we live in a world slightly of filters. And I think that actually people are crying out for authenticity. I really think we are. That is not
honesty. I'm Larry King.
Exactly. They're crying out for people like Larry King. So I started Great Company, to have amazing people on, just to tell their stories, to chat, to have fun. And we've had amazing guests on. We just had Harry Hill on. I love... Harry Hill is one of the nicest humans. And it's just people like that telling amazing stories and being honest and real. And you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts.
Jamie Laing speaking earlier today.
Is that the end of it?
Well, yeah. How long do you want it to go on for?
Okay. Favourite guest you ever had?
Will Ferrell.
Second favourite guest you ever had?
Jamie Laing.
There we go. Thank you very much. I loved your one with Coogan. You've done it twice.
Steve Coogan?
Steve Coogan.
Oh, yeah.
You've done it twice.
Yes, I have.
Last question. Will you ever bring back the trip?
Don't know.
Would you like to bring it back?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, one day. I've always said, in about 10 years, if Steve is still alive, it would be a lovely thing to do.
Such a great show.
But, with his health, it's
such a great show.
Thank you.
It really is. And I tell you why it is. Well, you know why it is. It's a great show because it's two friends who are friends, who run by a light script, but also there's a lot of improv. And you and Steve are clearly masters of improv. And so what happens is, I think of myself, if I was a crew member there watching it, they would just be creasing because you obviously just keep running with something the whole time. And it's genius how you can keep a joke in terms of whether it's improv acting with Sean Connery or whatever it is going. And that it's very, very, very funny.
And there'll be more from Jamie Laing with Stating the Obvious at the same time next week. Jamie, I've loved talking to you. Reach out and shake my hand like a man.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Now get out.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye-bye.